Yes, Ugandans. This is Mwaka Emmanuel Lutokumoi from Gulu. I was the national spokesman of DP in Uganda. I was resident district commissioner of Lera, based now in the US. Today I'm making this video from my heart with pain. Most of you who know me are wondering. Many in diaspora here called me to give my views on Uganda issues because they knew me as an orator who can speak, but unfortunately I've been shutting them down. You must be aware that for the past 3 years I've not been active in anything to do with Uganda politics. Talking, I've always written from my heart, and many in government thought I've been attacking them. Many in opposition thought I'm a bad apple or apple. But I think all I did were from my heart. I, from the onset, said, most who know me are wondering why I speak like this. I'm a victim of torture. In 2011, in the walk to work, me as national spokesman of DP and other opposition came together and organized walk to work protest. More than 8 people were killed, many tortured. We saw how Dr. Bessie and others were tortured, but the camera didn't show us. Like many of us suffered in Northern War, where we lost more than 700,000 people, where more than 1.8 million people lived in camps, where more than 100,000 children got lost, made sex slaves or child soldiers as government watched. Being a victim, fighting for democracy in Uganda, I've developed a neurological disease which affects my speech and balance. Every day I've got headache. I get injection in the neck after every 2 months to reduce the headache, but I'm on drugs every day because my spines were affected during the torture. When I posted something, because many people think I drink, because when they call me and I talk, or they see me walking like a drunkard, because I move like a cripple. I am crippled. I can't walk alone. I need help. But this is the suffering from many Ugandans. Others died. What Uganda do we need? My wife, a friend, told me, why do you spend your time talking? Many people should not see you over talking. I said, my speech therapist told me if there's an important issue in your country, speak it up. Though you may not understand me well, if I speak slow, you'll get me. But if I talk fast, you won't get me. Beside the suffering, in opposition. Of course, we suffered a lot during the UOD time and so on. So basically, I was giving you the background on why I speak like this, on why we need a national conversation, on why we need to follow what Mao Norbert told us. When I saw Democratic Party, my party, joining government, I was a little hesitant. But because we discussed a lot with my mentor, Norbert Mao, I realized Uganda needs a national healing. Uganda needs transition. We have had a president who has been in power for 37 years. Where we have reached, there's no joke. I've seen the NRM members are trying to force the president to stand and so on. All are in my write-up. I've written. I'll post it out and you'll be able to read. But I have to summarize to you what I've written. Take it or leave it. They are my opinion. And please, I'm fine financially. I'm not begging or asking anyone to give me money. Most inept and full-hearted people think when you talk positively about change in Uganda, you are looking for money. When I left the opposition and joined government, people abused me. I didn't go for money. The RDC at the time, Deputy RDC, used to get less than $1 million. In my organization, NGO, my security guard used to earn 1 million shillings. But I opted to go and see what happened in that office. I didn't go for money. Being RDC, you can become rich. Many people celebrate. They go and kill cows and celebrate. But going forward, I wrote a letter, open letter, to Ugandans, to the Ugandans, the UPDF, NRM, and to the ordinary people. Also, those eminent Ugandans. I wrote an open letter to us. I gave a background that since 1962, we have never had any peaceful transition of power. We have been seeing war and wars and wars. Uganda's state-making has been the art of war and bloodshed. All Ugandans, Westerners, actually Baganda, Kasese, Bakonzo, and so on, have a story to tell. We all have pain in our hearts. Much as I live in pain and tears, many Ugandans are here out in tears and pain too. So I wrote this letter urging Ugandans in NRM to give Ugandans a chance. I said they are forcing the president to run again. They are forcing the president to run again. Imagine the president is 79. When he finishes his term in 2026, he'll be about 82. Meaning, therefore, that in 2022, you're urging an 82-year-old president to run again. I see we didn't love him. I wrote in my open letter to Ugandans that those who are basically forcing the president to remain in power do not have Uganda at heart. Basically, these are people who are looting, people whose life has been dependent on the oversight of the president. These are guys who kill, these are guys who have captured Uganda. And the president has to wake up to realize that he's being duped. These people have arrested development. These people's livelihood is dependent on no change and backlash. That is what has kept them. The president has tried. Zero tolerance to corruption has become a slogan. State House has got anti-corruption, but it can do nothing because the power that be, those mafias are busy telling our president, that Uganda is not yet ripe for transition. It is high time we do it now, not in 2030. In 2026, Mr. President, don't even attempt to stand, because in my open letter, I said, M7, don't be tempted to run again in 2026. Support anyone, anything, even a stone. Ugandans will go for that. And your successor will continue with national conversation, so that in future, in 7 years or so, we can have a peaceful, tranquil Uganda where everybody is happy, not sickly and living in pain like many of us. When I wrote it on Facebook, some people asked me and said, how are you doing? I told them, in pain, like many Ugandans. Thank God I'm here in the US. I can have surgeries, I can have good medication, I have the money and all those things. But back home, nothing. So it's high time we start rethinking our strategies and move on. Again, in my open letter, I wrote to the opposition, let's drop the hypocrisy. Let's drop the hypocrisy. Let's open our eyes. For so long, we have been taking Ugandans for a ride. I hear very big talks, conferences, opposition coming in the US, going to Europe, attending EU Parliament and other parliaments. Friends, these are colonialists. They're hell-bent in seeing confusion in Uganda. They're hell-bent in getting resources. I am very sure that they are now bargaining. When you opposition takes over, the oil is ours. All the natural resources are ours. That is why they are against President Museveni. That's why the other day you saw him in a bulletproof vehicle because the wrong people might assassinate him. Not the worst, can even be anyone who is crazy. So my message to opposition is that we should honor to Uganda because the former opposition in 1962, when DP was to be the first premier through Chiwanuka, that was in 61 when it was voted. In 62, Kabaka Yeka and the UPC came together, and definitely they came with Dr. Obote, and DP accepted, and other Ugandans, because they love Uganda more, they decided to have a peaceful Uganda. Unfortunately, the constitution was abrogated. We saw what happened in 66. That conflict exists. That's the reason why Uganda is still ethnically divided. And it's the president has the key to doom or prosperity for a country. Sorry. Let me take some water. Yes, so I wrote to the opposition. I'll be able to post my written opinion. I also wrote to the UPDF. We love you. You have shown that you're professional, but never accept Uganda to go to the drains. I wrote to you that you must not sit and watch at politicians messing up the country. We do not need a new Uganda army. You are professional enough. We cannot lose what we call Uganda. It is high time you wake up from the slumber nightmare, because the way I see politicians pushing the president to run again, I see danger. We know the effects of coups. Coups produces coups. Wars produces wars. Where we have reached, Uganda is on the highway to prosperity and being one of the best and the first-class country in the world. Remember, Africa has over 35% of the world's resource, but Uganda has oil, gold, and so on, platinum, name them, in big quantity. We can be the breadbasket of Africa. Africa is looking for United States of Africa. Please stand up, speak up, and push for a change now. Thank God the president has been building a professional army around his son, General Museveni, which shall come later on. He managed to build a very disciplined, strong, professional UPDF. Then, to be a soldier, you must be arrogant, a fighter, a dropout in school. Today, the reverse is true. Most UPDF are educated, scholars, PhDs, etc. They are aware of the world. So my caution to them, the president, if you ever call the president, Museveni, please look for him, go for his choice, listen to him. Because with the formation of Fronansa, fighting hard, building NRA to UPDF, the president has been a political commando. That's why all opposition must not joke now. We are past joking time. We are past making good speeches. Some of us can't speak well, but we are learning to speak because of torture. We want a free, national, and united country, like our national anthem tells us. I love what Norbert Mao is saying. He's talking for national reconciliation. First, he wants transition, and the president opened up to any Ugandan to think about transition. That's why he signed the agreement with the DP, and Mao is a super minister of justice. Thank God it's there. We should be able to come up with the laws that can make our country better. Laws, we should bring back the term limits. We never know if any leader that will come will be as good as President Museveni, or even worse. We must have laws that can protect the former presidents. By the way, most presidents fear to leave office because of reprisals and revenge. Look at Kenya. The farm of Uhuru Kenyatta, former president, was burnt and the goats' sheep were taken, vandalized. That is what presidents fear. And therefore, the president was so stupid to groom MK in State House because he knew Uganda cannot go to the docks. Imagine Uganda in the hands of thieves, in the hands of pro-colonialists, in the hands of drunkards and addicts. I'm sorry to say this. Where will we go? In the hands of tribalists. The president has tried his best in uniting Uganda, but before we could not come together. If your name is O, you can't get a job. If your name is whatever, it's a challenge. But in the 37 years, it was a blessing in disguise. So to me, I think, in my opinion, it's high time we start rethinking. Let's leave hypocrisy. I know many will attack me, Dr. Omoy, for my opinion. This is my opinion. For a better Uganda. I'm a walking dead. They killed me long time. Troubles in Uganda killed me long time. Being me is very hard. Sometimes I ask God why I'm living. Life is very hard sometimes. You get the money, you get everything, but you're in pain every day. You can't walk, you can't talk, you're learning how to talk, you're having headache every day, you're crippled. Ugandans. It's high time we sit down for a national conversation and we scuttle the ship which is about to sink so that we can save Uganda. Recently, in Cambodia, the Prime Minister who handed over to his son, General Coup, he's been in power for 38 years. But there is a brutal war in Cambodia. The man has seen the West, he has seen Wagner troop smelling what's happening. Then he realized that whatever happened to Libya might happen to him. You know how Libya was destroyed? There's a very strong civil war taking place now in Cambodia. So the PM, after many years of grooming his son to a general, he brought him forward. The king, the army, everybody accepted the son. And now there's a peaceful transition, and the son will be able to continue with the national conversation. Look, like in Uganda, there are two options: revolution backed by our colonialists, or national conversation born out of our wisdom. The shenanigans of regime change, the addiction of the West, and those interested in our resources must stop. If Africa is to come up together, it's high time we unite. Look, combined GDP of Africa is about $3.3 trillion combined. We are so poor, yet riches in terms of resources, but we are not united. So democracies fail. Opposition is telling us we had a dictator, I must go. These are bought out the mouths and because they are talking for transition, that is foolhardy. Because if you're right and genuine, why do you go for election after every 5 years for the past 37 years? Your interest is that 3 billion government gives to the leader of opposition. Your interest are the 30+ million shillings government gives to each member of parliament. Who would want that to go? How many years have Honorable Betty Numbers been? Sorry. How many years has Honorable Betty Numbers been in Parliament? And how many young people has she groomed to replace her? How many years have Honorable Lord Mayor been? He gets more than 40 million shillings monthly. Honorable Okumuragan eventually was just kicked out of office. So these people say the election is sham, is fake, but they participate yearly. Why? Because of money. They talk big because of money, but they are the people, together with the mafias within NRM, who do not want the president to leave power. They are the people who are against the MK movement, which I'm coming on later on. I think I'm a little tired now talking. Let me go to the MK, but I've talked to Ugandans, to NRM cadres. Please, pushing the president to stand means we are undermining the efforts and the legacy done by the NRM, grooming millions of cadres. I have many who are RDCs, many who are ministers, many who are directors, many who are ambassadors. Where will you take them? In the army generals, in police, DPCs everywhere? The young people have taken charge. Therefore, by saying they're still young, look at the deputy speaker of parliament. He's a young man, but very intelligent, like many other young NRM. Together with them, wise and well-intentioned people like Mao, us, and other Ugandans, we can make Uganda a better country. This is very important. I think I must conclude, because it has been, I've talked for over 30 minutes, but I think it's very important. I'll be able to post my write-up for Ugandans and Africans to go through, because to me, I think the discussion must start now. We need national reconciliation. We need a national conversation on what kind of governance we need in Africa. You have seen how China developed through communism. The West through democracy, but democracy has failed. You can't go communism. Therefore, we have to look as Africans, as Ugandans, for a balance between democracy and communism and come up with a strong way of governance. We have seen Mali, we have seen Benin. Those huge kingdoms were able to foresee the transatlantic trade. I mean, the trans-Saharan trade. They were able, though the Arabs were able to scan the beauty and the richness of Africa, later came to get slaves and sold them here to the West. So Ugandans, I think we must all look carefully at the MK movement. The president was not a fool to groom him, to build UPDF around him, because he knows he cannot revenge against him. He knows he can guide him together with other Ugandans as an elder to come with a better form of governance, a devolved governance, where there are two parliaments, many good things that can make Uganda go far. Things which he failed to do in 40 years. He tried but failed. His successor might do it better. Look at the MK movement. I saw Director Ofono Opondo, the Speaker of Government, contradicting and almost attacking the MK movement when he was in the frontline NBS this August. It shows you that there's a big fear of the MK movement. It has gained traction. At first, the Mosi project, but now it has really gained, it has gained prominence and big traction because young people go for swag. Anyone with big swag gets the wave. Look at the new Bob Wine, because he used to drink, smoke, dance, sing, do all those swags. He has a beach, he's a rich man, he has money. The young people look for him because they constitute more than 78% because they constitute over 78% or more of voters in Uganda. Meaning, therefore, because of the swag, they went for Bobi Wine. Now, MK movement has taken charge. It started by the birthday parties around the country. The youth were recently, you've seen the crowds in Tesu, mostly youth. By the way, most of these youth are the millennials. These are guys born in 2000 plus, or even 90s, late. They go for swag. They go for people. They don't care about the history of Uganda, nothing. So the MK movement is a force to reckon with. It is a force that can contest with anyone and beat them, hands down. Whoever is telling the president is still young, I don't think he's young. And the MK team must eat the humble pie and listen to Ugandans. Talk to the president, incorporate other Ugandans. Don't think I want to be minister, I want MK to be president so that I'm able to steal and be a good thief. Forget about that. Because it is now or never. Let's do it when it's not too late. Let the opposition not attack me, because they have always been rubber stamping and forcing the president to be in power for long, for life, to destroy his legacy. Uganda needs a national conversation. Uganda needs a national dialogue. We need transition now. We don't need a unity government or something like that. No. President Museveni can resign and NRM support the MK movement and all of us support him. When he becomes president, the parliament can decide that, well, this government is transitional government. So it will be 7 years and we conduct a proper and well-organized election in 7 years when we have constitutionally come up with the kind of government we want. That is when we can be able to show Africa that we can unite Africans. Africa is talking of United States of Africa. But how can you unite when many Ugandans are in exile? More than 5 million. Thousands of Acholi are in London, others here, Canada, everywhere in the world. they have run to exile because life is terrible home. There's no hope. Only those stealing and killing and causing mayhem on people like us who have become almost moving dead. It's so painful for a young man at 45. I'm not supposed to be a cripple. I'm not supposed to have headache all the time. I'm not supposed to learn to speak. I want to thank you so much for taking your time listening to me, but I'll be able to post whatever I have written down and you can be able to read everything. It's not too much, but you can be able to read and make your own decision. These are my opinion. Take it or leave it. But as a patriot, as a Pan-Africanist, as a person looking for United States of Africa, as a person looking for continuity and having our president not die outside the country, I give this opinion. Be blessed and please subscribe to my YouTube. Thank you.